We are encouraged to think like Christ in Philippians 2:5. And when you hear that, it sounds good, just like a lot of things. Well, Christ did it that way. I think automatically we translate that, well, he was God, he was perfect. Hey, I'm not that way. And so as we read Philippians 2 on the right way to think in our Christian life and the right way to live, not only was Jesus Christ given us as an example, but he gives the example of Paul, of Timothy, and Epaphroditus. I want to read to you from 2:14 through 18 of Philippians, and to see how Paul is an example of what this right kind of thinking looks like. Listen to what he says. Do everything without grumbling or arguing. Now that seems impossible, especially when you're a kid, but he says do everything. It's like in everything give thanks. Here he says do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky as you hold firmly to the word of life. And then I will be able to boast on the day of Christ that I did not run or labor in vain. But even if I am being poured out like a drink offering on the sacrifice and service coming from your faith, I am glad and rejoice with all of you. So you too should be glad and rejoice with me. Here he's making the appeal that they have unity, that they love each other. He's like telling a bunch of quarreling kids, behave, forgive, let's begin to think we're family, let's love one another. But then in the midst of this, he says, remember, I personally am being poured out on your faith, poured out for you. And here we have, in the Old Testament, they had drink offerings that were normally poured upon the altar, poured upon a fire, so that I'm going to pour my life so that it will evaporate in its service towards you saints. I ask you, who's being poured out for the love of Christ? Or are we spending our time murmuring, grumbling, arguing, having pity parties, and resenting, not forgiving, grudging, whatever? All the human excuses. Are you being poured out for anyone besides your children or your family? It doesn't include anyone besides someone that has your last name. Who are you being poured? Paul said, here I am, a Jewish rabbi by training that's become a believer, and I'm among you Gentile believers, and I'm just like a drink offering. I'm being poured out for you. All the blessedness of being poured out. I guess it's like Spurgeon used to say, who said that we were supposed to land in heaven with perfect bodies? He said, I thought we were supposed to be consumed like sacrifices. And Paul is saying, I'm a sacrifice. I'm just a drink offering in the whole realm of ministry. I'm broken and poured out, and it's all for your betterment. This is what that thinking looks like in the life of the Apostle Paul. Thinking like Christ. Thinking like Christ.